Welcome everybody to the wonderful wide world of Pokemon. I think that gets different every time I say it. I am Meals. I'm here with the Platinum Chanel boy himself, Jeff.
Hey.
I am here with Big Gucci Pafif.
Hello.
We are here. Continue talking about whatever we're talking about here. The gyms, the Pokemon, the series, everything, the culture, everything
First
like
region.
that.
First region.
I don't know if this, because I'm thinking off the top of my head. Damn, season 3 will there ever be a season 3? Because I don't know if this works the same with other regions in terms of their gyms and stuff like that.
I'm not sure. Justin said some shit the episode he was on with us, and it made a lot of sense. Like, this one is super, like, you can remember this one as a kid, but even going on to the following times, it's tough to
the gym for Johto's? No, I don't remember.
I don't remember that. I mean, it's so bizarre to have like essentially an encyclopedic knowledge of the first 8, and then after that, like, I don't fucking know.
It's over, bro. It's over.
It's Faulkner, Bugsy, and then I'm like fall off after that.
And these, as you're saying, I'm like, oh, these are good. These are actually like good leaders. But I mean, there've been 70 plus gym leaders at this point. Like,
yeah. At some point, the personalities even themselves kind of just begin to rotate with various people. It's
exactly.
Like, okay, tough guy. Right. He's the tough gym leader.
This is a little girl with this personality. This is an old man with the same personality.
This one's gonna help during the mission. It's like there's always something going on.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure in terms of a season 3, in terms of what we'll get if we do a Mount Silver thing. But I mean, we're creatives. We'll figure something out.
Out, man. Maybe we'll hit up the Pokemon leagues only.
Who knows? I mean, really? Kind of. I mean, we only got time at this point. Season 3 might end up coming right after. We only got time at this point. We ain't getting out the house anytime soon. With that said, we're here for, quite honestly, the episode. Well, it's 3 episodes. This might be the freakiest 3-parter I've ever seen in Pokemon history.
Definitely.
Now that I've revisited it.
It's actually a big fall off from the last 3-parter of the SSN.
Well, majorly, 100%.
Yeah,
I think they, you know what? There's a part of it that you kind of enjoy from the aspect of like, it's very rare today in Pokemon where there's a plot that continues throughout several episodes. And
yes,
it isn't created and resolved
in 20 minutes,
21 minutes. Yeah,
it makes you feel like they're aiming higher. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling. However. Sometimes they don't.
They didn't hit. Yeah, this was a miss.
So here's the thing. These episodes are like the SSN one has the Island of Giant Pokemon aspect to it, but that's like it's the first time they do it, and it's really bizarre, and it's like, okay, this is weird, whatever. This time around, actually,
in terms of those episodes, it's like way better than the SSN in the game, right? Like,
absolutely.
You're going around and battling. You don't really even have the ship experience. It ends up just being more of a setting for this type of thing. It's like, oh, we'll do it on a boat now. The SSN one is all encompassing. You're on a boat. The boat sinks. What are we doing?
It's super loud.
Yeah, it's one of the moments when the show like transcends the game, and the opposite happens here, like aggressively.
Right. I mean, I think it transcends the game, but I think it transcends it in such a way that it's so far removed from it that it's like, this is part like they could make a spin-off of the entire things that happen in these 3 episodes and probably expand it into a 12-episode series.
It's not even like Pokemon. Some of the stuff that's happening.
Yeah, for real.
I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but it's
well,
Sabrina has superpowers.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, 100%. So in this episode, we cover actually 2 cities. I mean, we only cover 1 gym, and this is about the gym. Once again, the sounds of New York is behind me.
We understand, man. It's a
trying time. It's a trying time.
I'm glad they're on the job. Yeah, well, actually, it might have been a cop car, not an ambulance. I don't know if I'm glad they're on the job.
Listen, from my alerts on the Citizen app, I'm just glad they're out there from certain points.
Right.
With that said, you got Saffron City, which is the gym, Marsh Badge, everything, Sabrina. We also have Lavender Town, which is a major part of this. Major part of the game, but doesn't end up being a major part of the actual show, which is kind of disappointing in itself.
It sucks. Awful. Do you think they wrote something up for it and they just passed on it because it was too dark?
No, I think
I don't see. Yeah, sorry, let's go ahead.
Or how do you draw how do you put that in on a kid's show?
I think
right way.
Well, first of all, I thought it's very, very possible that the arc in the game was too dark for the show.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because the arc in the game is a Pokemon dying, and for a kids cartoon show, I don't think they're actually going to do that unless like they're like, oh, Cubone was sent to another dimension and we got to save its mother from another dimension.
And it was definitely like that aspect of the game has certainly been not touched since then.
No,
so I think they could easily have been like, ooh, this is kind of grim. So even by the time they were making the show, but see, Lavender Town is still in yellow. Like if they really didn't want to fuck with it that bad, they could have retconned some of it in yellow in some way, and it's the same.
Yeah, but I look at it as they put this town that's it's scary. It's supposed to be spooky, but they didn't put a gym in it. They made sure that the importance of it was just that storyline, and then when it's over, it's over. There's no need for you to be back there.
Yeah.
I remember the atmosphere of getting to Lavender Town because I had just got out the cave that I refused to use Flash in.
Yeah, nobody used Flash in the cave the first time.
Yes, real ones never use Flash.
Never use Flash. Also, to the left of Lavender Town is where you can get Vulpix or Growlithe. So that was a big deal. So I remember much about Lavender Town just from
before you finish on the dark cave part.
Sure.
Was it in the original games? Was it completely pitch black, or was it like kind of black?
Okay,
I don't remember.
It was pitch black, and you could only see ladders.
Yeah, ladders and a little bit of like can you see like the shadows of the rock sides?
I think in like some of the actual like borders of the game you could see, but like not only stuff that was like on the very edge. I think like a lot of the rocks that were actually just along the pathways, those you could not see.
See, for me, I just skated through that shit. Like I never used Flash in there because obviously HMs were a different breed at that moment.
Yeah,
so.
I don't even know if I knew you could use. Like, I didn't. I was 9. I don't know if I fucking knew what I was doing.
Right.
Okay, so I'm looking up the video online. I don't want to take too much from Jeff's point because I know he was going somewhere with this. I'm looking up online in terms of the actual emulators they use. Definitely trainers in there. It was pitch dark except for the shadow of the rocks. Except for the shadows of the rocks in the ladder. So you guys are completely right on this.
So I would just kind of skate the walls. After I played the game so many times, I could get through it, pretty easily. So
I bet the second time I did it, I probably caught some Flash Pokemon I just used for Flash and then after that one. But my only true memories of Rock Tunnel are in the pitch darkness, being like, why did they make the game like this?
No, I mean, back to my point, it's like I think that's why Lavender Town we remember it so well, not just for being Lavender Town, but the things that were placed around it. That awesome water little down to the south of it. As a kid, that's pretty sick. Like I'm like, oh, this is sick. Water and fucking bridges and shit, and a few trainers.
The game has really opened up.
Right, and Mr. Fuji's there, no?
Yeah, that's where you get the flute.
Yeah, so it was just some things that were placed upon Lavender Town that made you remember, and obviously the music is incredible and one of the most iconic things about the city. But yeah, no gym being there, and then the storyline part with the Marowak and all that shit's amazing. But yeah, that's it. And I think maybe putting it in the show was, if they were gonna make Sabrina as spooky as they were, they did, maybe they're like, okay, we can't do Lavender Town and Sabrina.
It's just crazy to me that like I do think ultimately like it is, Cubone is like a sad orphan hanging out in the tower because like the Marowak ghost is there, and plus they haven't. That's very dark. It's a lot easier to do like in quick scrolling game text when like kids don't fully comprehend what's happening than it is like on screen when their parents are in the next room listening to the television. They have that, and then they haven't really introduced Team Rocket as like really much beyond Jesse and James at this point in the show, and obviously at this point
which is a large part of Saffron City, actually.
Absolutely.
But at this point, we don't have that in Saffron City. All we have is them, and we don't have anything about like the Sylph Scope or any of that, which is what in the game leads to Saffron City.
Oh yeah, Saffron is an awesome city in the game.
Yeah, but in this, it's completely non-existent. So it wouldn't have made as much sense to do the Cubone Marowak plot without having introduced that Team Rocket stuff. But to trade out to not give Marowak any real estate in these episodes when you have like this totally ridiculous dollhouse situation and Sabrina has superpowers and like people are astral projecting and flying around the town, like it's crazy.
They could have definitely, found a way to make that work, but I guess this is what we got.
Let's move on to Saffron City in the game itself. Saffron City, once again, it's heavy Team Rocket, heavy presence
Saffron City, man.
Yeah, and I guess we should point out the maybe the biggest aspect of other than the story differences here is this is the show's biggest departure from the games at this point structurally, because in the games you would normally you would go to Lavender Town and maybe you would get a ghost or whatever, but then you get the flute to wake Snorlax up, where you'd go to Celadon City. And then I think from there you could go to Koga or Sabrina.
Yeah. So, this is 100% the biggest difference from the game. The fourth gym in the game is Erica Celadon City. There's no way, I don't think, without beating her that you could go to, nor should you at this point, because your Pokemon is wildly underleveled to go to the Saffron City gym.
Yeah, there's somebody blocking the door to the gym. Because not only do you have to do all that other stuff, you couldn't even get there without beating Erica and Celadon and all that. But additionally, you have to beat the fighting dojo before the person moves from the door in Saffron City.
Mm-hmm. All these things come into play. With that said, I feel like just in general, in terms of just straying away, it's interesting. I mean, I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago. It just seems like they made the show completely separate from the game. You kind of just got the rough notes of like what the game is about, where everything is. Here's the gym leaders. Here's the general structure of it. And they were like, okay, go make a cartoon. But in terms of the game itself, because it's really weird. I wouldn't say it's really weird in terms of watching the show. The show is a cartoon. It is what it is. But when you're used to the structure of the game of Erica being fourth and then Sabrina shows up fourth, and then it's like, all right, it's kind of thrown off. Yeah. It's a little interesting. But Saffron City itself, do you guys remember going into the gym itself and having the experience with the tiles? Which actually get a nice little thing in the actual show itself.
They do.
Episode,
they do. I was surprised watching
tile.
it. I was like, oh yeah, that happened.
The cool thing about it in the show is that not only is it true to the gym, but it also is Team Rocket seems to know about teleporting tiles, which they kind of do a little bit in their Celadon hideout. So it's a nice all around nod. You
could be trapped in here. I wouldn't say for hours. You wouldn't be that stupid, but you could be trapped in here for a considerable amount of time if you don't know the order of tiles you're supposed to go to. And sometimes it's fun just figuring out itself. He's like, oh, let me try this tile. Ends up at the entrance. Oh, let me try this tile. Back in the same trainer. Oh, let me try this tile. Oh, new trainer. Oh, then there's 3 more tiles I have to try. Oh, let me go to this tile. Back to the same trainer you was before. Mm-hmm. So there was definitely a confusing aspect before you hit to Sabrina, which kind of made it original, kind of made it interesting. In a sense, also frustrating. There's a definite theory. I wouldn't say theory, but strategy. I don't even know if it's strategy. It's kind of dumb luck now you think about it. You kind of just got to hit the right points, and it's more memory than anything.
Right.
Let me hit this one. Oh, okay. Let me not take that one because I went through this one. All this, but it eventually culminated. You felt good at the end when you reached Sabrina, and it was like, all right, let me battle her and see if I can get her out the paint.
Yeah, I don't know if the gym was that exciting as far as Saffron is concerned. Like, I thought Saffron had other things going on in it that like overpowered Sabrina. I think I was always happy about Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan.
But I think in the early games, though, I think the thing about Sabrina is, and probably why she was so revered, was because Psychic types are the most powerful type in the damn game.
Exactly. That's what I'm gonna say. You can also get the TM for Psychic in Saffron, so it's like. You gotta grab that. So, but it was definitely the fact that Psychic was it. There weren't that many dragons, so it was like, this is really what it is.
She had probably, I mean, I don't even know how many Psychic types there were in the game at that point. There was probably about 6 or something.
Yeah, not a lot.
No, she had Kadabra, Mr. Mime, Venomoth. Don't ask why. Yeah. Venomoth and Alakazam. And that was her forte. They all had one psychic move or another. Venomoth kind of threw you off. I never really understood Venomoth or poison types and or bug types in this game. I don't think they had the right weaknesses type thing yet. I just knew to hit Ember with it or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, that's the kind of memory of this gym. I just remember it being
Alakazam
really strong.
Will body you. I mean, probably the strongest Pokemon in the game at this time, besides Mewtwo.
Strongest, fastest.
Yeah, you get hit with that side beam, it's a wrap.
It had Reflect was really powerful in these original games, if I'm correct. And then it could have hit you
counter for it.
Yeah.
Here was the main issue for me. It was the fact that defense and special defense were one thing. So Alakazam really had no weakness at that point. It went down a lot after they added, defense and special defense because it was so trashed, defensively.
Yeah. The only saving grace is that you don't the Alakazam doesn't have Psychic. The Kadabra has Psychic, but the Alakazam has Psybeam and Psywave. It doesn't have Psychic itself, which I think
they gave us a break.
Then it was more powerful than those moves.
She evolved Alakazam too early before its cool
That's exactly what happened.
I gotta say, the yellow version of the gym is absolutely hilarious. Abra level 50, Kadabra level 50, Alakazam level 50. And Kadabra
level 50 Abras is fucking nuts.
And it looks like the Kadabra and the Alakazam have almost the same moveset, except Alakazam swaps out Kinesis for Reflect, and that's really hard. Like, they both have Psychic, and you go from Kadabra to Alakazam. It was tough.
It was a tough gym. I'll give it that. It was a tough gym. Not a most memorable gym, but definitely a tough gym.
Yeah.
You had to earn to reach, whether this was your 7th gym or your 6th gym or 5th gym. What was the option? No, it was either 5th or 6th. Whether it was your 5th or 6th gym, it's it was a tough beat. Nonetheless, let's get to the actual episode itself, because actually 3 episodes. So here's what we're gonna do. We're not gonna talk we're not gonna go long form on each episode. It just doesn't make any sense. In fact,
there's so little actual story.
Yeah, the shortest form I want to go is on that middle episode. But the sort of form and the general gist of the story is, and it kind of is separated from the actual Pokemon story, is Ash reaches Saffron City in a very interesting way. There's a little tiny girl they see in the forest, which is some weird shit. I felt like it was from some movie.
This is out of a different show.
Yeah.
Like any other anime.
Legitimately any other anime. They follow some girl to the edge of the cliff. Ash falls off the cliff.
He throws his Bulbasaur out in this really unrealistic manner.
It's a cool sequence, but it defies physics 100%. There's no way that happens.
There's no way his body, the Pokeball goes the
Pokeball goes up while it's supposed to be going down because gravity.
Like Pat said, it's not Pokemon anymore for whatever reason at that moment.
But it was a cool looking sequence. It was.
Yeah, no, it was hard. It was hard.
It's kind of like from Yu-Gi-Oh, where Kaiba has that briefcase, but he manages to climb up the side of a mountain.
Oh, right.
He has a briefcase Kaiba in his hand.
Kaiba gets physical in that show.
Yeah, Kaiba's real. He wilds out once Pegasus takes his brother. It's a wrap. We getting off. Yeah. Y'all already know.
Oh my god. Nonetheless, they reach the city. Team Rocket has some sort of plan. Their plans are thwarted almost instantly. But then they end up at the Saffron City gym where they see a bunch of psychics. I like the psychic parts. Also the accent part. Little accent part.
The accent was cracking me up. He's Russian?
It's a Russian psychic who kind of looks like Gary, but
Yes, at first I was like, wait a second here. Is this him? She has she's teaching psychic. She's like the Oracle from the Matrix. These people have powers. She has insane superpowers.
At this point, she doesn't even need Pokemon. But she is nonetheless. They get to the gym. They see all these psychics training to use their power. Ash is like nuts to that. Forget all what you guys are talking about. I'm going in to challenge Sabrina, and he barges in and it's like, I'm challenging you for your gym. And you see the little girl, and you see the first of all, I'm skipping a major part. They come across this guy on their
How
way
many
to the
fucking gym trainers' dads are waiting around in the town ready to help people against their child? It's so weird.
I'm sorry I forgot that part because that's a major part of this. It's a recurring part of this show.
It's so weird.
So strange.
It's so weird. Dads are deadbeat dads in Pokemon world. They just are
an anime.
Right?
Yeah, it's like a thing in anime. I mean,
so
Gone's dad.
He's like, you're gonna challenge Sabrina for the gym, and you don't even have a ghost Pokemon? Huh. Like, I'm just like, bro.
That was good. That was you sounded just like him.
Yeah, you did.
I've been watching this for a while. With that said, they go in, and Ash is like, all right, I'm sending out Pikachu. We actually get the battle. I mean, the battle is what it is. It's a one-on-one battle, Abra versus Pikachu. Pikachu should clean up.
Yeah, I mean, it should be simple.
This is one of the cases when the move, like, I appreciate that the like it doesn't really make any sense the way teleport works in the game. Like it does as a device to stop you from catching Pokemon. Like if you're hanging out in Cerulean City and you're like, man, I want this level 12 Abra so I can be fucking overpowered in a little bit when I get Kadabra. And, it should be easy to just throw a Pokeball and catch a level 12 Abra, but it's almost impossible to catch them because they just run away.
They have a low catch rate, and obviously the first move that
high
they usually
flee rate
use.
Yeah. So that as a device to do that, I think is good. But again, it's something that works in a game, and I don't know that it would have been good, for them to literally translate it for the show. So yeah, I can appreciate that. It doesn't really make any sense that using teleport would earn you enough experience to evolve.
I just think that, like, in the game, teleport should have been used like protect or something of that nature.
Yes.
And
yes.
Call it a day. I mean, it's
just avoid a move.
It's not a big deal. Like, and then he comes back the next move, and they can't use it back.
100%.
And they could have achieved the same effect by just having Abra have a high flee rate without using teleport. Like,
I don't mind that.
So yeah, I think if it's something that, like, they hadn't really worked that into the game as much. The move that, like, stopped you from hitting, like Mimikyu's ability and stuff, like anything like that wasn't as common in the game at that point. Mm-hmm. But again, it's just a big difference between, like, you wouldn't.
Teleport is OP in the anime.
Yeah.
Well, 100%. But speaking of OP, the Abra evolves on a Q almost.
Yes,
so, like, almost on Q.
Legendarily crazy moment from the anime, like top 5.
Yeah, it just evolves immediately into Kadabra, and it's like Ash is like, "What the hell is that?" And it's like Kadabra, it's evolved form. And now it knows all its psychic moves. And it's like, damn, Ash, you picked the wrong time to face this lady. It tries to use a thunder, which was an interesting thunder. I mean, it created a swirl at the top of the ceiling. It sent out thunderbolts and shit. I was like, all right.
He created an atmosphere inside of the gym.
Whoever directed this episode was completely different from who directed the rest of the shit, because this is wild. Anyway. Abra uses Psychic to pretty much send the Thunderbolt back at Pikachu, and he manages to, like, murk Pikachu, and then Ash kind of gives up because Kadabra's using psychic abilities to make Pikachu dance and hit the floor and do all types of extra shit, TikTok dances, whatever. Clowning. So Ash gives up, and they're like, you can't give up in this gym. If you give up, you're turning into my doll. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this episode?
These are not the rules. I didn't know that before I started this.
No, and you know what? If they added this in the game, I would have been a lot more stakes would have been on the line.
Bro, Sabrina is like King Piccolo levels of powerful. Her body had to separate itself into 2 different versions because she was a crazy person.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I can't explain. I mean, they obviously need a lot more stories to explain how this thing kind of happens, but they opt for Deadbeat Dad to kind of fill in the lines
Yeah.
where they needed to be because they are transported to a dollhouse. Little baby Sabrina, the small Sabrina, compared to the large Sabrina, but the small Sabrina is like, let's play. And a giant ball comes crashing them down. And it's like, oh, he's about to kill him until weird dad guy shows up.
Oh,
and he's
man.
like, he's apparently a psychic as well. News to me. He was out here jogging.
Yeah.
Didn't even need to jog.
Bum needs to fucking save his wife from the dollhouse.
They're strange. He's like, she's out of my life. He teleports them all out of the gym, and they're like, listen, you're never going to beat Sabrina and her psychic things. You have to go to Lavender Town and get a ghost Pokemon. And they're like, I guess we're going to Lavender Town. And
this is one of the things where it's like a little bit of a different issue than what we were describing earlier, where in this case it's kind of just them like severely dumbing down the plot because it's TVY7. But like what he's saying is like the fourth trainer, the person who you're not even halfway through the league challenge, and this is somebody who's unbeatable. Like it doesn't really make any sense logically. Like no one would ever have advanced into the Pokemon League without Ace. Like
if they're unbeatable.
He's saying skip the gym. Ash is saying, and they have insinuated there are more than 8 gyms, so that kind of works. But Ash is saying I can't get in if I don't have this badge. So
well, maybe Gary was smart enough to go to Celadon City before he hit this. Maybe he hit Celadon and Fuchsia first, and it was like, I'll come to this gym when she's less.
Ash, you went in the wrong order, dumbass.
Well, I mean, it's crazy. Jokes aside, Gary is a legit good trainer. Like Ash is just he's just wild.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, also, boom, and things I forgot to do. Also, I forgot to do the actual like status update of where Ash is at this point in the damn show. His of course, same 3 guys, Misty, Ash, Brock. This episode 22, he loses Butterfree before this. So Butterfree, legitimately the episode before, he gives it away, or rather, Butterfree dips off.
Butterfree's horny. It's mating season.
Well, listen, not mad at him.
Butterfree knew that it had already been traded in a moronic situation.
Well,
it was like I was like, I'm gonna leave. I don't hate you, but I'm gonna leave this on my own terms.
So he's traded 100% and then traded back for Eradicate. Which was the funniest thing. We got to do this SSN episode because when everyone's throwing out Butterfrees and he throws out his Pokeball and it's Eradicate, it's the saddest shit that we've ever seen in our lives.
Yeah, goddamn.
There's a banned episode before this, and it is banned for, I believe it's banned for 2 reasons. There's a scene where James has boobs.
Right. Correct.
So he has boobs. And
they have him like cross-dressing a lot to the point where like it might already be problematic, but like now he's just like actually undergone a full genetic transformation. What's happening?
But I learned when I eventually saw that episode, I was like, oh, okay. We didn't even really need to see this, to be honest.
They're busty. Yeah, they're I mean, it's clearly like perverted.
But back to the actual plot itself. So they head to Lavender Town. Legitimately, they reach Lavender Town. It seems like it's only a place where there's a tower.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no house. There's no Pokemon Center. There's no bridge. There's no route to the other city. It's just a tower, a scary looking tower. And they go in. This episode is really more comic relief than anything. As much comic relief as you can get from them being threatened by psychics. With that said, they go in. It's a joyous adventure for Ash. Misty and Brock kind of just play the outside. We're not going in. We don't need ghost Pokemon.
It's kind of a rare Ash actually does do it on his own moment. I mean, he doesn't really do fucking anything. Like, he jokes around with some lonely Pokemon ultimately. But,
he has a full-on Disney adventure.
He does the astral projection. He almost kills Misty. Yeah. It's
100% died in this episode.
And this would be a lot better to me if it didn't come hot on the heels of them escaping the dollhouse. Like, if they're going to turn a Pokemon graveyard tower into a situation when Ghastly is on a swing set. Like, that's fine with me, but don't put it on the heels of this Dollhouse thing.
Right.
Yeah. It's a fun episode depending on how much you like it. I've seen funner episodes, but it's relatively fun if you're like taking it for what it is.
And if you see, like, this is an introduction to those ghost Pokemon, it's not like the best thing, nor is it actually accurate because they'd all be weak to psychic due to their poison typing.
Right.
It's huge thing. But it is, like, it's fun, like, it is cute, like, it's good. I bet it would be a different episode if they knew, 20 years later, Gengar is like one of their mascot Pokemon.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely be
I think these are the only 3 ghost Pokemon in the game itself. I believe. For the first 151, I think these are the 3 only ghost Pokemon.
Yeah.
So they kind of introduced them all at once. Not bad at all.
Goodness, we came a long way. 3?
Yeah, that's crazy. And they're all, and there aren't really even 3. It's 1. Like,
yeah, technically, right, yeah.
There's 3, and then there would be 1 more introduced in Gen 2 before they decided, you know what, we should introduce more. Like a lot more.
We need that Eevee ghost. I need that Eevee ghost, man. Stop playing.
Ghosteon.
I need
something along those lines. With that said, we are here. At the end of the episode, Ash befriends Haunter. Doesn't catch him. Doesn't battle him.
Classic Ash.
Says, you want to come along with me to beat this trainer? And the Haunter is just like, haunt. It is what it is. I don't really like the sort of the befriending aspect of it. Also,
it's not necessary. Yeah, he doesn't, like, he's not actually friends with him. If it were like a real, like, we actually, I don't think he has a clue what's
going on. No bond.
Yeah.
No, he has no clue what's going on. He's just like, oh, word. To like turn up, like, I'm lit, like, get me lit, I'm out of here, like, we're going out into the city, that sounds cool. Like, there's no actual, I don't think Haunter has any idea of the actual stakes of anything that's going on. As much as Ash tries to explain it to him, it's like, Haunter, there's a gym trainer in Saffron City. He uses powerful psychic Pokemon, and I need you to beat him. And Haunter's just like, I'm going to go play with Misty now. Like, I'm going to lick Misty. So it's not like he really cares about anything that's going on. And he doesn't even bail on him once in this episode. He bails on him like 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, in the span of 21 minutes.
And you're competing with a Pokemon that you haven't caught. Like, again, Misty was going to loan him Pokemon before, so
right.
It's kind of out the door. But
pretty cheap,
still,
though.
Yeah,
it is. They reach the gym back again. Ash tries to challenge him again. Haunter goes missing. He tries to use his other Pokemon. His other Pokemon want no smoke at all. None of the people that he just caught. Not even Pidgeotto.
And he has, like, if you forget the Pidgeotto and even the Pikachu, he has the 3 starters. And he can't do like, he has an incredibly overpowered team, which I guess is a reason not to also, like, let him permanently have Haunter. But still, like, anyone could beat this gym with these Pokemon.
He could have gotten this.
I was gonna say, man, let Ash have Haunter and get a Gengar in the first season. I mean, that would have been hard, man.
Yeah.
It would have. I'm not mad at that. With that said, they try to run away. Misty and Brock get turned into dolls. Poor them for being secondary characters. And then the psychic guy shows up again and disappears. And he's like, oh, okay. He takes him away. He explains himself a little bit more. I love the running gag that Ash has no idea what's going on. Like,
this is so all-time dumb Ash in these 3 episodes.
You must have taken her baby pictures too. And it's like,
you're a photographer.
This is goofy as fuck.
They find Haunter again. They go back to the gym. Haunter runs away again. And it's just like, at this point, Pikachu's like, F this. Nuts to this. This is it. I'm done. We can fight. We can scrap. So it's Pikachu versus Kadabra. This is a lot for it. Just a lot went on in this episode. I'm just letting you know. This is the 3rd episode that we're talking about. And Pikachu is actually doing very, very well. And he actually shocks the hell out of Kadabra, which is hilarious. And then Kadabra uses Recover, which is sad. And Recover in the game I can't remember a significant user of Recover.
Mewtwo. I remember, Mewtwo used it a lot.
Mewtwo was the one that I mean, he was the one that I saw it probably the most.
But I think I do remember. I mean, maybe I'm kind of projecting here, but I remember Kadabra and Alakazam using it.
In the games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely used in the. Who has a Alakazam in the Elite Four?
Oh yes, I think somebody does.
Because I feel like it's used.
Gary.
Blue. It is Blue. Gary's Alakazam.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
he does have an Alakazam. So I was just like, I feel like I've seen Recover.
But you don't see it that much. Yeah, you don't see it that much.
No, not really. It's not a lot of psychic types in this game. With that said, he uses Recover. Ash is like, oh, we're fucked. And then Haunter eventually shows up and he makes Sabrina laugh. And then the dad shows up and he's like, she's laughing. I haven't seen her laugh in years. And Ash still has no clue what's going on. And he's just like, the laughter, I guess, ends up being the medicine to all of this. That Haunter is just really, really good at making Sabrina laugh, which ends the battle decisively.
She's a good person again.
She's a good person. She just, she just needed to
tell a joke.
It's just that's what I'm saying. I was like, what the fuck is this? Misty and Brock get turned back into people. I guess the mom gets turned back into a person off screen or something along those lines. And everyone is recovered. And the dad, who wasn't there 5 minutes ago, announces that Ash is the winner.
Like he has, like this is the best part of the episode, because how do you have any authority?
My man, he's just a deadbeat dad, shows up and announces victor for Jim.
The last time, I mean, they handed an entire gym over to a deadbeat dad in Pewter City.
Dads have all the authority, but they don't want to be around in the show. Like, not at all.
But if you think about it, this is a common thing between animes. And the dads are always like the most powerful being in the world, or they're saving the world, but they're shitty dads.
Yeah, I mean,
they're amazing at what they do.
Evangelion, Hunter x Hunter, Pokemon,
Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Dragon Ball, the shitty dad is actually the main character.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's a lovable. It's part of its charm.
I guess so.
It is. Pikachu wins by making Kadabra laugh, because Kadabra is paralyzed by laughter. They don't even show her giving him the damn badge. He just shows up. He's like, "Got the badge." And
got it.
Like, damn. So you have 4 gyms. 3 gyms, he hasn't really earned the badge. This is like out of the 4 gyms. He really only earned 1. This is an interesting set of affairs. Nonetheless, they're out. They say, "Hey, what's the next gym up next?" And they're like, "Oh, it's Celadon City." I was like, "I bet, you motherfucker."
As we watch this, I come to more terms with him getting smacked in the Pokemon League. Like I'm just like, damn, he really just wasn't doing anything. He's not a good trainer right now.
Yeah, he's like, and Jeff, it's like you said earlier, Gary is like made out to be a good trainer. Like he's made out to be an asshole specifically to Ash. But
he's legit though.
Yeah, his Pokemon like him. He's a strong trainer. It's weird.
It's strange. Yeah.
Well, we don't have much to travel for the next gym. It legitimately happens 2 episodes after this, which is some great pacing for the show. It's I think, compared to how shows are now, where you can go 20, 25, 40 episodes without seeing a gym, to go 1 episode without seeing it is like, okay, we're going to go here and then we'll end up in Celadon City. It's pretty refreshing, even though I have no idea how you end up in Celadon City from Saffron City that quick. But no, I don't make the rules. Actually, I don't know. I haven't seen the map. I guess it's 1 town over, huh?
I mean, technically, but it's
Saffron City is kind of like the center point. There's Vermilion City I think it's below it. Saffron City, Lavender Town is to the side of it.
Yeah, Lavender's to the right, Celadon's to the left, Vermilion's to the south.
Bottom. Yeah. And then the north is
the daycare, the ledge area into Cerulean.
Oh yeah.
You gave him lemonade or whatever.
We're the train. Who knows? It's with that said, we have Celadon City up next. If you thought that this was hijinks in Conundrum, welcome to Celadon City, where this gym is going to be even more. I don't know how he's getting these badges. Yeah, very much so shenanigans. This was fun, kind of. I like the gym. Cool. I like the antics. It was an interesting set of 3 episodes to reach to the point where you got a gym. I don't know if we need to drag this out 3 episodes, but you know, cartoons. This is what we are.
Yeah, I mean, these are some of the best Pokemon in the game in this first generation. I mean, between Abracadabra and Alakazam, and I guess not so much Ghastly, but neither Abra. But like these Pokemon specifically are like Alakazam and Gengar are not anymore Alakazam, but now are like, you know, those two, Machamp, Mewtwo, like those were in the first generation, some of the Dragonite, some of the most powerful possible Pokemon.
Right.
Yeah. No, you're right. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Mount Silver, episode 4, season 2, episode 14 overall. Please stay subscribed. You want to stay subscribed, follow the Lookout on RNC Radio, on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, anywhere where you can find podcasts. We are there. You can also follow RNC Radio Live to stay up to date with everything RNC related, including this podcast. Next episode, we will be going over Celadon City. But you know, from myself, Meals, Platinum Chanel Boy, Big Gucci Bafif, stay safe, stay ready, stay blessed. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Yeah.